Howdy. Well, nobody here at the moment, but if you're watching this later, howdy. So, it is butt cold here in West Virginia. Now, I know some of my up north friends, this isn't nothing, but this is cold here. And, and it got cold quick. I was up at about 4 o'clock this morning. I actually did a live stream probably around 6:30. Um, but I ended up deleting it, not bothering to upload it. Because nobody came on. And I'm really not sure. I don't think I really talked about anything of any value. So I went ahead and just deleted it. So we'll see if anybody shows up this evening. I am trying to keep my lines from freezing up. I've got heat on all kinds of places. Um, my chickens are doing okay. Um, they've got water, they've got food, they're locked up in the coop. I left them in the coop all day today. I'll probably leave them in the coop all day tomorrow. Um, Hopefully, it's warm enough Sunday yeah, Sunday that I can let them go back outside. And but I could have opened the door and let them outside, but I didn't want all that heat to go away, especially not today because it's going to be in single digits freaking all day, and it has been, and it'll be all through the night too. Actually, it's probably negatives right now. I don't have an outside thermometer, but I went out and fired my truck up probably about 10 o'clock this morning, and it was 1 degree sitting with my truck running. It was 1 degree outside. And actually, once I get off of here, I'll probably go back out, fire the truck up, and let it run for a little bit, and check on my birds again. I've checked on them 3 times today. Um, but it dropped, and it dropped quick here. Last night, it was like 40 degrees. It was 40 degrees most of the evening. And then it dropped 30 degrees in about an hour, hour and a half. And it's pretty much just stayed cold, and the wind has been getting it. I believe our wind chill says like negative 25. And I believe every bit of it. I believe it is that cold. I do. I believe it. Um, let's see. But so that's what I've been doing. But yeah, like I said, I let my truck had been running for like 5 minutes, of course, in the driveway, which was concrete, next to the house, and it was still 1 degree, according to my truck's thermometer. Um, so that's cold. Um, let's see. less dice for the birds twice today. First time they were fine. Second time and third time, they were. It was. There was still a spot of water, but it had frozen all around. But I've got a waterer for them. And I might try when I go out after I get off of here. I might get like a bowl. I might grab like a bowl and put water in it, and maybe they drink out of it. Since it's more liquid, it might not freeze as quickly as it does around that ring on the automatic waterer. So I might try that. That wind is getting it. That's what that thumping is. The wind blowing outside. So that's what's been going on today. I'm glad that I have had the day off, that I can actually work with this stuff and try and keep everything from freezing up. Things have been good inside, and if anyone's listening, you know, but if anyone watches, let's see. So that's kind of my little update on current goings on around here. I made a homemade concrete blanket, got over my well house, and got over a few other places where there might be, some freezing issues. And then I've been running water, doing a lot of laundry actually, which it works because I've had a lot of laundry to do. I've basically been going through since she left. I've been going through and washing everything that can get washed. Don't do it every day. If I did, I'd have had it done by now, but I'm trying to do that along with keeping up with everything. So it works out that I can do laundry and in this cold, and it helps keep things from freezing up, and I'm not just wasting water. About to smack my coffee. I wouldn't have thought. Oh, golly. My coffee pot is broken also. It still makes coffee, it just won't keep it warm. That little burner for the carafe, it broke. But I can still get coffee, so that works. But oh God, excuse me. I don't know. Let's do a little Bible reading. If you start watching this and Bible reading is not your thing, then now's your cue. You can turn off, and if that's not what you want to hear, then that's your business. Bible cover. Had this Bible cover for a good while, but I got a new Bible in it, and it's actually smaller than the Bible that I did have in it. Because I got this cover back when I was in high school, or junior high one. So I got that Bible cover then, and back then I was reading out of the NIV. And then I got me, well, I have had a King James for a good while. And that's, most of the time, that's what I read out of. But I've got the scriptures in my Bible cover now. And so, let's see. I don't know where to start. Where am I going to read? I've been, for my own personal dealings, I've been in the book of Acts. So, but I won't put you through. I won't put you through. Got one person watching, and we're doing Bible reading. If you want to comment, any particular chapter. This was not the original intent of this live stream, but I felt the call to do so. But if not, we're just going to start in, well, let's just do 1 Timothy, because that's where I got the book open to. And I'm starting in 1 Timothy, and we'll just start chapter 3. Like I said, if anybody has a specific chapter verse they want, I've got 2 of you on here. Trustworthy is the word. If a man longs for the position of an overseer, he desires a good work. An overseer then should be blameless, and the husband of one wife, sober and sensible, orderly, kind to strangers, able to teach, not given to wine, no brawler, but gentle, not quarrelsome, no lover of silver, one who rules his own house well, having his children in subjection with all reverence. So, that's pretty straightforward there to begin with. Makes sense to me. It'd be pretty straightforward. The man who longs the position of an overseer. Now, I've heard, or I've read in other translations, they use the term, I think, deacon or bishop, just some Bible term. But that's kind of what I like about the scriptures is some of those words they use something that's a little bit more. It's understandable if you don't speak churchanese. So it's a little bit more understandable if you just don't speak, church people language. Now there is some stuff in here that, would take some getting used to, but, an overseer would be, that's, pretty self-explanatory. Somebody who's in charge. Somebody who's kind of, well, we're talking about in the church, so, someone who's in a leadership role in the church, possibly an elder in the church. So, hey, got one wife. Um, Sober, sensible, orderly, kind, etc., etc. Um, and now I've heard that one wife translated or interpreted to mean, well, it just means that he should be married. And then I've heard others say, no, it means that you should only have one wife, like no polygyny or polygamy or any of that other stuff. And I'm not a polygamy fan, so don't get everything all up in a in a wad there, thinking that I'm one of them guys that wants more than one wife. Because while there's not, to my knowledge, a scripture that specifically says you should only be married to one woman, other than the fact that there was only one woman in the garden with Adam. But there isn't a scripture. But every example that we have of someone having more than one wife, there's just a bunch of headaches that comes with it, and a bunch of heartache. And there's which the fact that the tribes of Israel came from two women, right? Wasn't Israel at the time, but Israel had two wives, and it was a kind of a shady thing that the guy's dad, that the girls' dad did to get him to marry two women. But it is, but there was some quarreling going on. There was quarreling with the different brothers. You can go back even farther than that. Look at Abraham. And Abraham had one wife, Sarah, and then when Sarah comes in, she's barren, and she's like, well, just take, my maidservant Hagar, have her and have a kid. And so he basically, in the biblical context, he married her. And then, that just led to a bunch of heartache. Solomon had, I can't remember how many wives, and a bunch of concubines, which that's a discussion for a different day, and it's one that I am not qualified to get into. And it wasn't the fact that he had so many that was necessarily what the problem was, but it was the fact that, which, I think it just shows you where his heart was at the time and his head. But it was who he was marrying was the biggest issue that was brought up. But I do think we can infer that he was not thinking straight to have that many women as wives, and so yeah, one woman. that's for me. I'm not passing judgment. If you've got multiple wives, as long as it's, but I don't think that it's a good idea. While I don't necessarily think it's specifically outlawed, it's also not the original design, the original plan. So that's just where I'm at on that. And I lost you, it looks like, but that's okay. For if a man does not know how to rule his own house, how shall he look after the assembly of Elohim? Not a new covenant, lest he become puffed up with pride and fall into the judgment of the devil. And he should even have a good witness from those who are outside, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. Likewise, attendants are to be reverent, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy for filthy gain, holding to the secret of the belief with a clean conscience. Howdy, Freedom Inc. How are you doing today? I'm doing a little Bible reading at the moment. And now I lost my place. If you're interested in it, I'm in and want to follow along. I'm in 1 Timothy chapter 3 somewhere as soon as I find where I'm at. Because I did just kind of lose my place when I looked up. Let's see. And we're going again. Fall into reproach and the snare. Okay, I think I'm right here at verse 8. Likewise, attendants are to be reverent, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy for filthy gain. Okay, I already read that one. Welcome to the club on. I am, as I believe it was Bear Independent once said, that I am so Christian that other Christians don't like me. I read the book and I do what it says, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we can all try and get along, right? And now, okay, I really probably shouldn't be doing this on the live stream because I'm getting distracted, but that's okay. I think I'm in verse 10. And let these also be proved first. Then let them serve, if they are unreprovable. Wives, in the same way, be reverent, not false accusers, sober, trustworthy in every way. Let attendants be the husbands of only one wife, ruling children and their own houses well. Now, I kind of mentioned in the beginning of the chapter where it kind of says, that overseers only are to have one wife, and that some people try and say that means that they should be married, but doesn't have a. Okay, I can appreciate you. We are. It's all good. I know I didn't put anything about a Bible reading on the title of this, so I really didn't plan on reading when I got on here, but anyhow, see. But yeah, like I was saying there, but in verse 12, it's pretty blatant that it's only one wife. For attendance. And actually, I'm gonna see what that. I missed you. What you just said there, bud. Alrighty, bud. You take her easy. Anyhow, so it says, let attendants be the husband, only one wife. So only one wife, right? No multiple wives if you're fulfilling that role at least. And I said earlier what my opinion and understanding was on the whole multiple wives thing that people like to get into. For those who have served well as attendants, gain good standing for themselves and much boldness in the belief in that is in Messiah Yeshua. I am writing you this, expecting to come to you shortly, but if I delay, that you might know how you should behave in the house of Elohim, which is the assembly of the living Elohim, the strong support and foundation of the truth, and beyond all question, the secret of reverence is great, who was revealed in the flesh, declared right in spirit, was seen by messengers, and was proclaimed among the nations, was believed on in the world, was taken up in esteem. A little bit of, basically it's just how things in the church are to be structured. That's one aspect of what that was. And, there's a lot, and not that it necessarily, get hung up on the wives thing. That's part of it, but there's a lot of other stuff in there that, the main Christian church and other, small congregations, house churches and things like that, like, we can take that, we should be taking that as instruction for how we should be, and it's kind of in the same line. It's like if sorry about that, guys. Well, thank you. I missed who that was. Sorry about that. I just dropped you because I'm a kind of a cheapskate and haven't invested in one of the LOT Black. But yeah, so that I was reading out of Timothy chapter 3. Sorry about that. If I dropped you, if that's what you're talking about there. But there's and Timothy is, and Romans and Galatians, like there's all stuff in all these writings that's how the church is to be run, and it's a lot of it is just Old Testament principles, and the Old Testament, like the new and the old, there is no contradiction. Now there's contradiction in people's understanding, I could say, but I don't truly think that there is any real contradiction between the old and the new. There's just people misunderstanding it. But anyway, so I think I'm done with the reading for now. We'll put her back up and see. All we got on here. I have to plug the old phone in. Sorry about that. Got a little bit closer to my face than you wanted to, probably. See, live chat. Let's set that up. So, golly, man. So, anybody still there in the chat? Okay. I understand there, T Black. I'm. I can just ramble on. Oh yeah, I've been taking it. Excuse me, but Zycam, huh? But now I've been pretty much since the beginning of 2020. I've been taking vitamin C, zinc, all of that good stuff. Well, it is what I do best there, T Black. I ramble pretty. Well, I don't know if I ramble good, but I ramble a lot. But the cough was going away, and then this cold spell, being out in it, really, really jacked my throat up, jacked my sinuses back up. The chewables, I don't know that I think I've heard of Zycam, but I I don't know that I've ever taken it. Yeah, no, my grandma, she was always, anytime she got a little sniffle, she'd take a Z pack. But she was a pharmacist. She could get away with that kind of stuff. She could just get, antibiotics. And it's like after she retired and then after she passed away. Okay. Hot toddy. Well, a hot toddy would be great if I had any alcohol here at all. And I do not. I don't. I don't drink often. uh, but I actually probably my favorite cough remedy and is a cup of hot tea sweetened with wild turkey American honey. Like you just pour you a good slug of that wild turkey American honey in a cup of hot tea, and that is better than any cough syrup that I've ever drank. It tastes a lot better too, to be honest with you. It's like I've heard of people taking a shot of whiskey and a spoonful of honey, and then like, well, you know what? They make this stuff. Yeah, yeah. I should, but I yeah, I am out at the moment. Yeah, American honey is great. The problem with American honey is it is too great, and I've been on that keto diet, and a honey liqueur doesn't exactly work within the realm of keto diet. um, but yeah, I occasionally, I mean, I usually do have a bottle of whiskey just for medicinal purposes. I might have a drink here and there, but since I got going on what I got going on in my life, I'm like, I really don't want alcohol in the house, um, and to use as a little bit of a crutch. It's like I'm just nah, it's not worth the risk. So that's why I don't have any. um, just to be perfectly honest. But I am kind of wishing that I had some for the tickle in my throat. But after I get off of here, I'll probably get up and get me some coffee, and That'll help just in time to go back outside and check on the birds and make sure their water hasn't froze up. They are good, or they should be. They were good a couple of hours ago. They've got plenty of food and plenty of water and a nice warm enough chicken coop with a heat lamp in there. And when it's all sealed up, it's pretty decent in there. Uh, Not to mention, one of the benefits of doing the deep litter method for the chicken coop is you get some heat from the litter. But they were all kind of in little groups huddled together. So, and I just had it, on it. So, live chat. Okay, well, T Black, you have fun with that and tell them to be safe out there driving to Arizona. So Matt, you say you brought your bees inside last night. Strap the box to a dolly. Put them in the basement. They're happy bees today. Yeah. I have wanted to get into beekeeping for a while. But that is one thing that I've been told is like with the winter, it's really hard to keep them alive depending on where you're at and all of that. A buddy of mine out, I believe he's in Iowa currently, although he might be in Oregon now, said that it got down to negative 30 where he was at last night. Like, negative 30 is too cold. That's too cold for me. Why would anyone live in that? It's not for me. Not for me. But the dog thinks that I'm talking to her now. But yeah, that would make sense. My biggest, the birds I've got, like I said, with bees, I don't really know much about them. Um, I I'm more of a bird and mammal kind of person, but I wouldn't mind having bees. I would kind of like to have bees, and at some point I may do that, or I may get somebody in the family. They might get bees, so I get to have the benefits of someone who has bees without having to actually have bees. But I do actually, I kind of want them just for pollination, if nothing else, for the garden. But and I've been doing a lot of stuff with beeswax lately, so it would be nice to have my own source of beeswax, um, to be able to get that. Um, and I just think that they're neat. But I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can uh, speak a lot more on that than I could because I just know what little. I just know just enough about them to be dangerous. uh, but yeah, I am. Let's see. There's several more animals that I want to bring on property before I will probably invest in bees. And which I've got some stuff to get through legally, and all of that. Going through the divorce, and so I've got that I've got to get through, and then after that, okay, we're I'm apparently not allowed to sit here with this thing in that corner. That must be a dead spot. But yeah, so you said that you just got the box and the bees. When did you say that was? Last. Okay, this past spring. Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, Washington News Station. And a happy Hanukkah and whatever else. I'm not really doing any of them, to be honest with you, but you have a very Merry Christmas. I'm enjoying the time off that's associated with it. I know that. uh, but anyhow, your bees. That's I guess I mean, it's like with any other animal. You've got to start somewhere, and that's one of the. So I remind you of your brother. That is either a good thing or a bad thing. I my brother reminds me of my brother, or of my brother reminds me of me. Like I do have a brother, and if you saw the two of us together, you can definitely okay, good thing. That's good. Um, but yeah, my brother. If you put the two of us together, it's like, well, you can clearly tell that we are brothers. Um, Both of us big old red beards and big broad-shouldered farm boys. So, uh, but yeah, I'm wanting to get goats, um, and I think that will probably be the first livestock that I get, um, other than possibly more birds. Um, I had goats when I was a kid. We did not have the proper fence for them, and so they got out, and so they got taken to the stockyard, which it was okay. We didn't have the right fence for them. We had electric, and it was okay with the first batch of goats that we got, and because we made sure that they got a good shock that first time, and then they respected the electric, and weeds grew up all around it and everything. And then my neighbors growing up, they had a Billy and two nanny goats, and they were milk goats. The nannies were milkers, and their house flooded out, and they left, and we wound up with the goats. And the adults respected the fence because they knew what electric fence was. But when we ended up losing one of the nannies when she was kidding, and lost the kids too. She died in kidding, and dad tried to and save them, but they did not. They were stillborn, and so it was too late at that time. But the other one kidded successfully, and them kids didn't know anything about an electric fence. And that electric fence was so covered in weeds by that time that they got out. And then all the other goats said, well, hey, look, that fence is off. Let's all get out. And so we were chasing goats. We chased goats and chased goats to try and get them back in. And Mom said, "Nah, we're getting rid of them." And they stayed in a pen until that Saturday, and then we went down to the stockyard and sold them all. But they were fun. I liked having goats, and they kept the farm clean. Now they did, because now around here we've got multiflora rose grows everywhere, and they used to market it, and actually I've seen it in some seed catalogs. If anyone tries to sell you, if you don't have it where you're at, and anyone tries to sell you multiflora rose, don't do it. Don't do it. But they were marketing it when they first came in. They were marketing it to people and farmers for something to keep their hillsides from slipping, and it does that. But it spreads crazily. And then if you don't mow or have something like goats that will eat briars, it will take over everything. It will. You have a hillside that you can't get through because there's just nothing but weeds. Um, and but goats will stand in a field full of grass and eat the briars out of the grass. I've seen it. um, they'll also strip the bark off of every apple tree they can get their teeth into. Um, that property that at my old home place, when I was growing on that property, maybe more, um, and every single one of them died when the goats showed up, except for one. This gnarly looking crabapple tree in the barnyard survived. And the goats, what they did is they stripped the bark off of that tree, clear around it from the far down on the ground, like touching the ground, clear up as high as the tallest one could reach. They had that bark stripped. And if you strip the bark clear around the tree, that kills it in a ring around it. Actually, that's kind of an old trick that people would do in clearing land back when they were first settling these areas. Is you take and you cut a ring around the tree, and then it would die and rot and then fall over. The same thing to all the other ones, but those crabapple trees all you ever eat. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so goats are probably first in line for livestock on the property. I don't know. I might run about 5 head of cattle, just like keep them over the summer, feed a lot of them, for 120 days, and send them to the slaughterhouse, or feed lot, or run them in the summer, where I don't have much of a feed cost, and then sell them so they can go to a feedlot. Um, but I might do that just to gain some capital if I can afford the upfront cost. And I think last time I last time Dad feedlotted cattle, he was able to make a little bit of money off of with 3. Um, and the way he had it figured, if you feed lot 1, and then you've got the meat, you've got the meat. If you feed lot 2 and you sell the other one with what he was charging, he sold the other one to a couple people we knew, and basically we got our cow for free. You know, we just had our time in it. But that other cow paid for the first one that was ours. And then the third one, he actually made some money off of. And so I can run on the one field that I've got, I could run over the summer 5 very comfortably, just over the summer. And then if I put them into a lot and put the corn to them, then I shouldn't have any trouble, and I wouldn't have any trouble selling the meat. I've got enough people that I know that are always looking for someone selling a half or a whole beef. But cows is not something that I'm super interested in. You know, goats, I like goats, and goat meat is pretty good. And goat milk is really good. Like, I'd rather have raw goat's milk than store-bought cow's milk. I know that for sure. And you can bet if I had goats and milking goats, my bud would be making goat cheese every single freaking day. Oh, golly. But I've been here for almost an hour, so I reckon I'm going to get off of here. I've got some stuff to take care of to keep everything from freezing up and make sure my birds are all okay and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to get off of here, and y'all have a good day, good evening. God bless.